Welcome. Hello. Come on in. Be careful. Yep. Come on in. How are you? Be careful. Come on in.
Oh, we got two.
Listen. I consider myself an elder. I advocate for men, but I love women. And when I say that, I mean I want all women to win. And if it's anything that I can offer, because I have been married this year 30 years, I would love to share that with ladies and women who want to be successful in that or whatever it is they want to do. But I would love to make sure that they have the right message. Because today, out there in 2025, the message is not correct for a woman. It's doing way too much. And it's not conducive to a successful lifestyle for a woman, in my opinion. You all might think different. Y'all can help me out a little bit, but what I've seen, we don't win. And I mean, we as women, we're not winning. We're ending up alone. Sometimes as single mothers and having to do it all by ourselves. And if y'all didn't take a good look in the mirror this morning, we are not good for that. Did y'all know this? We're not. We know what we want to look like. So anyway, we don't talk about what's going on in SA because I get such different opinions. I know nothing about dating here. I don't even know what it looks like. But before we do that, I want to make sure that we in no way damage our meaning flow. So we're not doing the nail bash, and we're lifting women because I really believe in order to produce a good man, we got to first be good women. We actually really do. We have to set standards for our own life. People gonna do what they do. Y'all understand that. Men gonna do what they do, they're gonna be men. But if it's not something that we would like to have near and dear to us, we don't have to. So I happen to think he set our standards in a certain place with certain people like can talk to us. You don't have to do it. No, they're your way forward. So I don't even have to look away. So it all falls back, in my opinion, on us. So in our decision making and how we hear that stuff. So yeah. Okay. So anyway, telling me about, I kind of want to jump right into this part. What do y'all think about the feminist movement? Is it here in South Africa? Which I know it is. But what do you think about it? And feminist movement is the independence of women and I don't need no man, that whole thing like that. What do y'all think about that type of that era? We were probably like on the fifth wave, a sixth wave of feminist waves in. I mean, it started out, they say, with a good intentions, we just want to be able to vote, to be the checking account, things of that nature. And of course, it's evolved into a whole lot of different things. And that whole wave or that whole feminist movement probably wasn't for us. I think, our counterparts may have been going through some things that we were not going through. But anyway, we fell into it. So what do y'all think about that? You first, what do you think? I'll talk for you. Did I feel the English? You got it. Let me jump this out.
I'm like, I don't know how to put it exactly right because I am all for women being, independent and strong and all of that. But also at the same time, I'm also like someone who, because I am in a relationship and I value my relationship. So like I know that as much as I am all for, like women's rights and I am a feminist, but I also, I'm going to speak for myself and not going to speak for everyone else because we don't have the same experiences with men. So I can advocate for men, and meanwhile there's someone else who's had like
bad experiences. Yeah.
Exactly. So now for me, as much as I am a feminist and I really believe in the feminist movement, but I also think, like we were technically made to have, like that one person.
That one person just messed it up for all the rest.
Exactly. So now, I advocate for that, but at some point, I do feel like it gets taken a bit too far. But I also think it is taken too far, but it's also because of valid reasons at the same time.
Well, listen, if you had to put a number on it or a percentage, how much of, how can I do it, self-induced feminism would you say we bring on ourselves?
I would say maybe like 80-20. Like 80% is on me and then 20% is on him.
Okay.
Because I don't have to take what he's giving me.
Right.
So if I don't feel like it's for me, I'm going to step out.
Right.
So for me, I would say 80-20.
So it's innately in us to want to be in a relationship with a man. I know there's some things that have happened, some choices that are being made, but this, y'all work with me. So when a man speaks to us and says certain things to us, it really it attracts our emotions. We want that. We want those relationships. And that's something that's innate. So how do you deal with that, knowing that if this man comes in and he's acting right and kissing on you and loving on you and telling you all these wonderful things and you're falling for it, because we do. At that point, when do you decide, you know what, that is not good for me? As a feminist, how do you deal with that part?
That's the part that's a bit difficult because I am all for quit and go, right? And I know I am working on it. Okay, I will say that. Like I am working on it because like previously, I do want to see the good in everyone. So I will sit and I'll give you like your chances and all of that. But I feel like for me, it comes to a point where if I feel like I'm talking to a wall, then like I don't think this is for me. Because yes, you say we were made for men, but also for me personally, I need my men to be able to lead so that I can follow. Now, if I'm not with a leader, then what am I doing? Because now I feel lost because he's not leading me properly. So then that's when I'm like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe he is not for me, or maybe I'm not for him. So I take a shift. I just take a back for me, and I will wait for him to then decide what do you want to do. Are you then going to come and be like, okay, I'll hold your hand and we can work through this together, or is he going to leave me in the confusion? Because if that's the case, then like we better just split roads.
That's very good that you're that conscious. Because I'm telling you, I've been done.
I've had a lot of bad experiences in relationships. Starting with the father of my kids, we're no longer together and it didn't end well. It was very, very bad. And, like our relationship was very toxic. And I didn't leave. I stayed, I met him when I was very young. I was 16 and I fell pregnant at 17 and I have a 14-year-old at 31. So, okay, he didn't leave, he was there, throughout. But he was controlling and I did not see that control because I was young and naive. I was blinded by love. I didn't know what kind of a person he was. I thought he loved me. I didn't see it as control. I saw it as love. Love. He loves you.
So I mean, ask a question. So, again, men are not perfect people. How did you learn now that it wasn't love versus being toxic? Or I should say versus being controlling?
Yes.
How do you know? Now that it wasn't.
Truly speaking, I've heard it a lot from adults, as I was young, but I just didn't want to accept it because it got all physical and stuff. It was not just control. So I saw it when it got there because it got to a point where he was no longer emotionally abusive and controlling. He was physical now. It's coming to it is like levels, It started by being controlling and then it was emotionally abusive, and then it started being physical. That's when I was like, no, this is it now. And we already had 2 kids at that point. But then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I have kids with this person. He's all I know because I've dated him from a very young age. And I was like, what now? What am I going to do with the kids? I moved out of my parents' house. We moved in together. We were not married though. But we moved in with the kids. And then I was like, you're too far down. And then, I think God works like in his, it works. He's like, the way it happened when we broke up, it was really hurtful. Like what he did to me was very painful. So, okay, I will share it because, it's in the past now. So he cheated on me with my cousin. The same guy that was abusive and, he cheated on me with my cousin. Then he had the nerve to tell me. He was like, dude, when are you moving out? I'm now with this person. I'm like, because we fought, so I went home. And then he just called me. He's like, when are you fetching your stuff? I said, what do you mean? I haven't moved out. I'm not dating a cousin, so you need to get your stuff and move out.
This is a real cousin? Real cousin?
Real cousin. And then I was like, what do you mean? I couldn't believe it, And then he said, no, actually, you know what? Don't worry. I don't want to argue with you. I'll just bring your stuff to you.
Was that a true story though? I mean, I know it was true. I'm saying, but was he really dating?
Yes. They're still dating. Oh. Yeah, they're still together.
When you're sharing it with friends and family, what was their advice to you? What were they telling you at that time?
Okay, so first of all, I was not allowed to have friends.
Okay.
So I didn't have anyone to actually talk to about this whole situation. Just my mom, But my mom obviously would tell me, you have to be in this relationship. Honestly, you have to leave. And I would tell her that I'm going to leave. And then I didn't, So at the times when I told her that he started again, he hit me when I came Christmas. I or something. She would be like, I told you to leave. I could see the pain in my mother's eyes, but she wanted me to decide for myself, because she knew if she forced me to leave, I was going to go back. So she was like, you know what you have to do. It really has to come out from you, and So that's why I'm saying, it really hurt me when I found out that he's cheating with my cousin. But at the same time, as I healed, as time was on, he is the way of God to be out of that relationship, because I couldn't go on. I couldn't come on in that relationship.
You couldn't leave on your own.
I couldn't leave on my own.
But we had to leave.
Yes. So I really couldn't.
So with me, it starts by growing up with my grandmother from a young age. So I was raised by my grandmother, my mother's mother. So my mom passed away when I was very young, like I was in grade 6. My dad, I don't know my dad. I know him through the photos, like images. I knew my mother's dad, but she also passed away when I was in Mutual, which was my closest from my paternal side. So I would say from the age of 12, 13, I've been with my grand ever since I'm this old. So having to learn about relationships and what's happening in the dating stuff and everything, it was a bit difficult for me to sit down with my grand, and because my grand, she's a very she doesn't speak a lot. She just observes and just lets you be until you come to her and open up and say, okay, so this is what I'm going through, and then that's when she'll talk. She's not like turkey person, but she was very strict to that extent that she wouldn't want me to go out like dating, maybe coming home late. I mean, that's like a mother instinct. Like obviously you have to be protective over a girl's a daughter, your young child or daughter. So I didn't have that opportunity to have that person that would guide me, unless obviously at school when you do the referencing classes and stuff, and also at church, because when I grew up, I started going to church as I met my other friends. So I think that aspect of my life, it made me to actually be on myself, like to learn to be on myself, to grow my character. Like, because I have a very strong character, I know myself. So when I come to dating and relationships, sometimes it comes as if like I'm intimidating to men, especially. Because I speak my mind. Because at the time that I had to break up with the father of my child, like we stayed together also for at that side of Henry Mamelodi. Yes, I rented a place that side because I was working that side of Pretoria East side. So I was staying alone, and it's a different place. I'm not used to it. And the time COVID happened, he got retrenched, and I was like, I can't stay with you for like a few months, and then you see what you can get. Having an open heart and saying he's my boyfriend. But at the end of the day, yes, I know. I mean, that's how my friend didn't know anything about me with that guy, because I know she'll flip out. So yes, at the end of the day, he got a job, he started, having friends, and I didn't even have a friend. Like, I'll go to work, come back, but he just ended up going all over, doing his things. At the end of the day, I had to be like the one that's getting affected. Because financially, he was not helping, emotionally, he was just draining me. So, I stuck around for so long until I fell pregnant. And then I was just like, let me just try to stay with him for a while and see how it works, because we're both in retail. So, you come home late, you leave early. And my baby will go to like an aftercare, like I'll fetch him like around 8 to 12 p.m. So it was just straining for my child. So I was like, you know what, maybe let me just rather go home and my brain will just help me with it. But that was just like a victory for me, because that's how I actually left him. And then I told myself, I'm not going back there. And then, I found healing in going back home and peace of mind.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot, because I did hear you say that you've never been around men. There's no men in your life. So you had no idea what it was even like to hear a man's voice, per se. That's difficult. That's very difficult. But just a hint, never move a man in your house. Unless you're married. My husband and I, we combined spaces for about 3 weeks before we got married. And that was the maximum. We both were overly convicted about sleeping in the same bed and not being married. So we actually hurried up and did that. But that is not the thing to do. Because you're taking him out of his rightful position as a leader. Because he didn't do anything.
No.
So now what's your expectation? What do you think he's going to do?
Nothing.
Nothing. And we should be ready for that if that's what we do. And that's what I mean when I asked her the question about what percentage are we willing to absorb when we make these type of decisions.
Yeah.
Because they're people too. I know we think that men are great, and they are, and they just know everything. And I'm going to speak for myself. When I was young like that, I just thought men knew everything. And they were great. And it was going to be all right. But now I know that they're growing and learning just like we are. You really thought that? Absolutely. Absolutely. In my 20s, absolutely, I thought that men were just great. I did. I thought not great.
I had brothers.
I had
grew
one.
up with my brothers and my dad, so no.
I thought that they were very much just had it going on. Especially if they approached you with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean by that? Like if you say you want to marry me, I'm expecting you to know what to do in this marriage. Okay. You know what I mean? Or if you say that you're gonna get an apartment, we're gonna do this, I'm expecting you to know how to pay bills. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but I'm just saying I expect him to.
Like lived experience does bring that wisdom, because I think now, like if I look back on the past, I would pay more attention to the families that they came from.
Right.
Because that can tell you a lot about what's normal for them.
That's exactly right. But you know what? Now that I'm talking to you about it, what I realized I was doing is comparing it to my dad. My daddy got that more grass over every day, he did certain things. He just provided. So I never catered. So I would think that everybody, if you're a man, that's gonna be your cook. No, I know.
But see, if you know before they own a home, like you don't know those things.
I see, yeah, I don't know. I think you're not gonna come grass. And what about the part about, you know, what about the part about fixing stuff? You know, my dad just fix everything. I would just think, I'll be able to fix stuff. I'll be able to fix stuff. Yeah.
You should really give it a good try.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't know how, you had to figure it out.
You know,
Yeah.
that's just, you know, and then I had to realize that, you know what, oh, men ain't made like that. So that could be quite disappointing, y'all, to realize that, oh, I don't have that time. So that was good. As far as the feminist movement goes, I think you caught up to the first and maybe second wave.